I know there's a lot of women out there who are just, they're really depressed, and the only reason that they're getting by is like that hit of getting the new dress or like the new top every once in a while. And that's unfortunate. Like a lot of shopping addicts fall into that category. And it's the same thing with like the Pokemon card people. Like there's some people that do it because it is like a hustle for them, but there's a lot of people who do it to get that, like that fleeting sensation of ripping a pack, to paper over not really having like a long-term goal with the money that they're spending on that stuff. And there's a lot of people who also say, hey, I'm never going to afford a house. Like, don't guilt me. I want to have my dopamine hits, right? Like, but it's if you do the math, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, we as Bitcoiners know it's like, it's easy to say all this stuff in hindsight, but now it's like very public that you should probably own some Bitcoin. So if it goes to $10 million, I don't really have a lot of empathy for the people who kind of ignored it in 2026. Like it was easy to be like, well, it's so hard to buy it in 2012. Like I was like 8 years old, but now it's just like, if I see a bunch of 40-year-olds in 2050, when the price of Bitcoin's like 10 million, and I was popping off videos back in like the 2020s and they didn't even buy like $10 worth, I'm going to be like, come on guys. But, yeah, there's a lot of temptation out there. There are people that take advantage of it. The fiat system also leads us to devalue our time a little bit. And I think the fiat system can lead us to that sense of purposelessness. But I don't like this idea that we're all just victims to the fiat system either. I think that Bitcoiners are very much not victims. We saw the broken system and we decided to do something about it. And we're putting all our time and energy into this better system. And so you always have a choice. You always have a choice and you have agency. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I hate that kind of thinking of saying, I don't amount anything in life because of the fiat system, the inflation, my parents, like whatever comes to your mind. Like people always seem to find reasons why they can't strive for greatness outside and not within. And I'm like, yeah, it might just be you. Like it sounds hard, but like if you're not where you are, it's either time or you. Like either give it more time and you're already on the right path, because some things just take more time than other things. If you want to be like, as we are both YouTubers, if you want to be having a channel with like 1 million subscribers, you might already be on the right path. It just like takes a lot of time. So like just be patient. Or you are stuck at 200 subscribers since 10 years. It might just be you. It might not just, YouTube didn't ban you. Like you're not shadow banned. Maybe your videos just suck. And this is, I think, a hard reality that a lot of people, even like outside of content creation, just like take responsibility for your own action. And if you're not, that's why I want to get into this with you also. I hate it when, and a lot of Bitcoiners even do that. I hate it when they say, oh, see, this episode got shadow banned. Oh, like my account got shadow banned. And I'm like, maybe it's because you didn't put any effort whatsoever in your title and thumbnail. Your intro sucks and the whole video is actually not that interesting. Maybe it's not a shadow ban from YouTube. Maybe it's just like really a bad product to begin with. So I don't know what's your thought on that, but I could ramble on self-responsibility for a very long time.
Well, like, here's the thing is that, like, there's a reason that YouTube bans stuff, or like the shadow banning happens. And it's either because, like you said, like a thing that has been very publicly known to be shadow banned, or you're like a really big account and they don't want that information to get out. But if you're like a small person and you just like lightly brush a subject and you mention Epstein and then your video doesn't get viewed and the first assumption is like, I got shadow banned, it's just like, there's no evidence for that. Like there's a billion videos on Epstein right now that are blowing up. So don't tell me that like you had the hottest take of them all. It's like, there are so many people with really hot takes right now and they're blowing up. And even Nick Fuentes, like there was a big censorship period, I think, during COVID, where it was just specific keywords, but it was pretty easy to know what those were. And it was just like, look, if you're going to make content about that, like you should know what you're getting into. And, you know, I if they decide to crack down on the Bitcoin stuff, yeah, like I am cooked, but like, you know, I'll make like one tweet complaining about it and then I'll just like figure out what else to do. Cause You know, I'm not going to just keep putting out stuff that gets repeatedly shadow banned. It's the people who are like, this is the 8th time I've been shadow banned this month. It's just like, well, like maybe just like stop making content that gets shadow banned. Like you seem to have like a really good penchant for it. So yeah, I don't like that. And I think accountability is important. But you know, social media is one of those things though, where I look at it like betting. Like you can just make choices that get you greater odds, but nothing is guaranteed. And so what you're trying to do is every bet that you make to improve a thumbnail or a title or retention, it sometimes will push back against like creative integrity. But you need to decide, you know, is this the week where I just take a bunch of bets that are going to have like a better outcome, or do I pull back on the bets and just kind of like make something I want? And you know, we talk about that a lot when we do our show. Every month we're like, let's do one of these, like, you know, 0.1 BTC, you're missing the biggest opportunity of your lifetime. Let's just do like one of those a month. We'll get a whole bunch of new people in, and then we'll drop that like stoicism video that we know will not do numbers, but is just like, you know, very important to talk about, and something that I'm hoping that when I get 100K or 300K followers, that like the people who care will just go back and they'll find that video and they'll be like, dope, I'm glad you made that. So yeah.
It's funny because I went through a whole different journey, because my content is a lot reliant on what the guest is saying. Because if I sell something different, what is in the podcast, the average view duration, so how long people stick around, will drop significantly. So YouTube will not push it as hard. And if it's not as interesting what's being said, you cannot really false advertise it. The people always talk about clickbait, and in my opinion, real clickbait, so saying something in the title and thumbnail and just not delivering in the video at all, just doesn't work. At least I haven't, like in my cases, it never works. You have to, the title and the thumbnail maybe have to be extreme, or like have to like find something like really interesting, which is maybe, if the thumbnail says like it's 110% interesting, it should be at least like 90% interesting in the actual video, something like that. So you have to kind of deliver on it. And so I forgot where I was going with that thought, but for me, it's really an interesting journey. Oh yeah, that's what I was going with. Like I'm very much relying on what the guest is saying and where the guest is going. And so the easiest way for me to see what is interesting and what is not interesting is just putting out a lot of things. And I over the years saw, okay, those kind of things are working and those kind of things are not working. Like these are like the topics that really work, because I was just forced from a lot of guests to put out a lot of different, like I put so many different kind of videos around Bitcoin already on there. And there's like very specific categories that like always perform. And that's why people are kind of always leaving comments like, not again, this like 0.1 Bitcoin stuff. Yeah, but content creators create it because you guys click on it. It's like a weird kind of loop. Yeah, it's like a weird kind of loop there. I don't know if you have thoughts, or like maybe it would actually be interesting because you have a really successful channel. I think you have put out 14 videos, if I remember correctly, on the exit manual.
No, I think we're up to like 30 now.
Oh, 30. Oh,
no,
gosh.
28. We're at 28 right now. Yeah.
And so, and they have been like doing really good. You have around 40K subscribers, something like that?
Yeah, getting close. I think around 38 and a half. Yeah.
And so, tell me about a little bit of your like story with content creation, how you ended up at this specific format, because I think you have been experimenting a lot with different formats beforehand, and probably still are. And how are kind of your videos coming together now?
Yeah, well, I've been doing YouTube videos since like on Bitcoin since like 2018. So I am not, it looks like an overnight success story because I just spun off a new channel and I had like a very clear mission for it, and that has worked. But it took me 4 years to get 1,000 subscribers the first time I tried it, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to like figure out, you know, I was like vaguely looking up videos people wanted, and then I would like try and make them, and some would work and some wouldn't. And I had no cadence to it. It was like, you know, one a month and then twice in 1 month and then one not for 4 months. And I didn't know what I was doing. Then I did like charting analysis. Like I have, like, if you go back to the Get Base channel, I delisted a bunch of videos, but at one point it was like, here's Bitcoin 101, here's weekly chart analysis. Here's a new show that I came up with that I did 8 episodes on, and here's documentaries now, and then here's Adam's show. And it was like, people, the way to look at YouTube channels is like a TV show. Like you wouldn't start Breaking Bad and then just like drop an episode of Survivor as like episode 7, right? Like what? Like, no, I came to watch Walter and Jesse cook meth and like continue that story. So don't do that to your audience. Like you have to have like a very clear format. They have to know kind of when it's coming every single week. You were doing it daily, which is incredible. Like I can't even imagine how you were doing that every day. You got to find something that works for you. And then from there, the hard part is sort of like, you cannot guarantee a video is ever going to go viral, but it's sort of like, if you have certain hands in, there's certain hands you want in blackjack or poker, right? Like you want to have like like an 11 on the fold or whatever on blackjack, like great hand to have, right? Double down on that hand if you have it. Okay, if you're in a specific niche, what do you look for? You get a tool called vidIQ or 1 of 10, and you go and you add a whole bunch of Bitcoin channels, right? My channel, Natalie Brunell, your channel, Mark Moss, and you go by this term called outlier, right? And an outlier is basically, it looks at the average view that any video will get on a person's channel, and then there's a score on any new video that comes out or any old video. And if a video, let's just say, you know, my channel gets an average of 20,000 views, 30,000 views a video. If I have one video that does 100, that's like a 5x outlier because it's 5 times the average view count. You can do this with any channel, from big to small. And the more evidence that you get, the more outliers that you find that have consistent topic matter, there's a very good chance that if you make one, you're also going to be an outlier, right? You might have a channel that gets 100 views. And if you make an outlier video, you might get 500 or 1,000 views on it. And then you just keep building from there. And sometimes your outliers are not like just 5 or 10Xs. They're like 100Xs if they're really good. So your job as like a creator is really to figure out, well, what is my niche? What is my audience? What are the similar channels in my niche doing? And is there a format that I could do better than them in some way? Is there a format, or is there a way I can take an idea and create a video that has clearly a lot of demand and hold people for longer during it, make a better thumbnail than them? Is there anything that I can do in my power? And like 100% of the time, if you just do enough work, you'll find one. We found a bunch. Like clearly, you know, the 0.1 Bitcoin thing works. And so everybody is racing to make the best like 0.1 BTC video. We did one ourselves on this. And like the edge that we thought was like, okay, everybody who does the 0.1 BTC videos, like their podcasts, right? Like let's do like a really short and quick one. Let's do like a really easy to understand thumbnail, like hold the Bitcoin up to camera. So, you know, even though I hate the physical coin, it's just like super easy for normies to understand that. And then let's make a comedy bit out of it. Or I'm at like a university campus. Let's do like this crazy hook where I'm sleeping on like a park bench. And that, I think, now is like one of the highest performing like 0.1 BTC videos. And we were like 90% confident it was going to be one of those easy ones that was going to do it. And it's still getting views to this day. And it's sort of like, it's just like poker or blackjack. Like you bet on the hands that are like very clear. And that one was like a very clear one. And I could make a whole channel. I could just make like a billion 0.1 BTC videos, but our hope is that we never get forced into ideas just because they get views. So we're always trying for like different outliers. And there's an incredible amount of research depending on your niche that goes on. But let's like circle back really quick. I decided to go with this format where I got to just script everything because it gave me the maximum amount of control over the title and the thumbnail and the script. I found that the easiest way to, you know, go viral on YouTube is to follow outliers. When you run a podcast, you don't have that option all the time because you can't force your guests to say a certain thing. And so it's a much harder path. And The trade-off is that it's a lot cheaper. It's not as much overhead. The editing time is way less. And so you can start this without a ton of capital. But you are also facing a lot more competition because of it. And so you have to figure out, like, what is your edge? If you're a podcaster, what is your edge over everyone else that makes a point one BTC video? Are you going to have the nicest thumbnail? Are you going to have like an amazing free flowing conversation? And so I would say 80% of the content creators in the Bitcoin space, like, they want to at least try podcasting first. You have to decide, like, do you want to have conversations for the next like 5 to 10 years? Or is this just like a way for you to have a Julian, exit manual show or BTC Isla show? Or do you want to do something else and you're just using this as like a leg to get somewhere? If you really care about conversations and this is something you really want to do long-term, like talk to different guests about macro, Bitcoin, just have these eye-opening conversations, then like, what are the most successful podcasters? Like, what do they all have in common? It's like half of them are comedians. Like, I don't want to be a dick, but like, you got to be charismatic. You have to be. Oh, my camera's blurring out. There you go. Whoop. You have to be charismatic, I think, to be a successful podcaster. There's only like one exception of this somehow, is like Lex Friedman. I don't know how that guy's famous. Like, he's got like the most dull personality, but I have a theory that he's famous because people just put his podcasts on to help him go to sleep.
The first thing that every Bitcoiner does, and the most important activity that every Bitcoiner keeps on doing, is buying Bitcoin. And I personally use Relay to buy and sometimes also spend or sell my Bitcoin. And there are two main reasons why I do so. The first one is it's Bitcoin only. They do not do any shit coins. They do not do any cryptos, any stocks, or anything else. This is a tool, an app that is fully focused only and solely on Bitcoin. The second one is self-custody. They give you the keys to your Bitcoin the moment you buy them. You never give them the control over your Bitcoin, and you don't have to trust them because you can verify that you and only you have the keys to your Bitcoin. There's no third-party risk. There's no freezing of your assets. There's no rug pulling. There's nothing of that. Download Relay, the app, on your phone, or go to relay.app on your browser and use code Robin to save fees and get cheaper Bitcoin. I want to tell you about something very special to me. It's called micro-seed. If you hold your Bitcoin in self-custody, and you should, you know how critical it is to secure your seed phrase. You should not have them on paper. You should not have them on anything else than titanium. With micro-seed, you can engrave your 12 or 24 word seed phrase, the entire seed phrase, onto a 1-inch small washer. Yes, just one washer. All 24 words on that one washer. You can hide that thing everywhere. And even better, you don't need to buy a new kit every time you have to get a new wallet. You can make unlimited backups because microseed is not selling the washer. Microseed is selling the device that stamps the washer. So you get the full kit with the device, with the washers, with the hammer, with everything you need to get started today, and you can make with that unlimited amount of backups. Go now to microseed.io.